Hello, everyone. This is the Easy Allies podcast. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us this week, Daniel Bloodworth.
Hello.
Ben Moore.
Yo.
And Brandon Jones.
What's up?
What is up, Daniel Bloodworth? What is your goal this week?
My goal is to not mess with my hoodie or anything. Not to mess with the zipper.
Mess with the zipper. Yeah. Okay. Weird goal, Blood. I gotta be honest.
I like it.
Like, what happens if he scratches his belly? Does that count?
No funny business.
No funny business with the hoodie at all. Okay, got it.
Hands above the desk.
Hands above the desk. Okay.
Right. I don't know. There must be.
Ben, what is your goal this week?
Yep.
My goal is to rhyme in a clever way while I'm talking seriously and not in a joking manner.
Oh, wow.
Is it okay if we notice?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
notice.
All right.
Because
Actually
you've
pull it
tried to slip them under a few times.
Yeah, I've definitely tried to be cheeky with it.
But this time we can notice and we can celebrate it.
Hands above the desk.
Okay. Brandon Jones, your goal this week.
I'm going to be doing a very matter-of-fact reading of the podcast halftime.
Okay. My goal this week, no time travel jokes. Enough. Let's play it out.
I'm glad you said it because I wanted to say it.
Okay, yeah, I'm aware of it.
Okay.
I see the comments.
Okay.
Begin corrections music, please. Monster Hunter World will absolutely be on Xbox One. That's on me.
There's so many comments.
Yes. I didn't mention Kingdom Come Deliverance coming out on February 13th when I was doing our little 3-month preview.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's a big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that deserves its spot more than...
Can you just say that release schedules are kind of sketch at the beginning of the year?
They are, but
you
I mean...
start looking at things and wait, this doesn't look like it's been updated for 3 months.
Yeah. I use Wikipedia. What do you use?
Oh yeah, never Wikipedia. I jump between GameStop, GameFAQs, and Game Informer.
Oh, nice. Okay. Multiple sources.
You filthy animal.
That Forest in the Shadow of the Colossus remaster is actually in the original. This was interesting. So Warhammer Fantasy, the fantasy is capitalized. So Warhammer Fantasy is like a lineage. That's an official name of that that timeline. So Games Workshop made a stripped down reboot of Warhammer Fantasy called Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And that's a whole new thing. So you can buy fantasy stylized Warhammer characters now, but that's not Warhammer Fantasy, that's Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Warhammer Fantasy continuity does continue through the Creative Assembly games. Isn't that crazy?
There's so much Warhammer, it's insane.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with it.
But to simplify what I just said, the tabletop game, the continuity of that world, of that universe continues on through the games, but not through the tabletop.
Right.
I think that's cool. And there was a big division between whether the new Age of Sigmar is good or not. Some people hate it, and some people really love it. They say it's very successful, and others are just like, no, that's why we like Creative Assembly so much, is because they have the original continuity. So it's cool.
Well.
Yeah, now I know a little bit more about Warhammer. Jones, you gave Shadow of the Colossus a 9.3.
A little less than I thought.
Yeah, man, hard to live up to. Like Shadow of the Colossus 9.3, how do you get past that?
I don't know, a couple more colossi, maybe some stuff for me to hunt.
Well,
other than lizards.
If you're talking about the
it's
original
like
game, there's, you can definitely dock some performance and control issues.
frame rate
so.
buckles a little bit.
All right, okay.
It's a fun game to critique.
Yeah. Right,
Try
yeah.
harder next time.
Oh, give it a different point something, Jones. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory, also available on Vita soon. And then this bugs me so much, Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, because I read the text on the Wikipedia entry when I was talking about this game, but still it all came out wrong. Still it was, because here's what happened is Ian and Brad were like, so do I get this? Do I get this? And I'm like, yeah. But it turned out they had already owned it, and I didn't want to stress about it, because I always stress about this game too much. Here's the thing. Here's how this works. If you buy this game in a box, if you buy this game as the $40 version on digitally as well of Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, you will get Season 1 and 2 characters. You'll get both of those in that package. If you get the free update, no, those characters, you don't get those for free. That's not a thing. Also, we're well aware that the Season 3 characters are not free as well. We got it. End correction music, please. Whew. Oh, I got a couple more things, actually, related to corrections. Please do not send corrections for Love and Respect games. I'm just going. I'm like, I have faith that the people who are making those games are making them are doing the proper research. Sometimes it's incorrect, but that's not on us.
Yeah.
We got some years wrong, but it's okay. And Jones, many try to correct you about the grouse not being Alaska's state bird, but I did the research.
The grouse?
Grouse.
The grouse. Sorry, I call it the grouse. The grouse is loose. According to 50states.com/bird/Alaska, the red grouse, I'm calling you the grouses from now on. The red grouse is a subspecies of willow ptarmigan.
Which is that's what they argued was the...
Yeah,
Okay.
they're like, no, it's willow ptarmigan. It's like, no, you're a subspecies. And it's even, actually, I didn't realize it's red grouse.
I'll also accept the loss on that. You know that it's the
Don't
red.
accept the
I'm not
loss.
applying the red to that. That's the actual bird is called a red grouse.
Yeah,
So I wanted something that had red in the title.
great. You nailed it, man. You're right. Those people need to learn about their birds. Me too, Groose. Okay, so kind of light news week. There's a lot of stuff happened this week, but it's not things that I look forward to talking about on the podcast. You know, just like even like Paladins Battlegrounds, it's like they're doing their own like PUBG-like thing with Paladins. And I just don't want to trash on Paladins, you know? Like, just let Paladins exist, you know? It's like, I don't know. I was thinking about, like, how to formulate a discussion around it, but I, like, don't want to. Just let them do it. So what I want to do this week, because it is still there, it's the beginning of the year. We're still there. It's our second episode of 2018. I want to play a game called Who's Gonna Have It Better in 2018? And so we're going to look at, I think these are mostly all publishers that I have lined up. We're going to look at two big publishers, basically, and trying to determine against the other one, who's going to have a better 2018. Let's just start because it'll be easier to explain. EA or Ubisoft? Who's going to have it better? Whoa. Is it this
Ubisoft.
hard? Is it hard
No,
to get
it's
this
not
far?
hard.
Well, I'm like defaulting to Ubisoft, but I don't know if that's because they had such a great 2017. Mm-hmm. If I know that'll continue.
But I think it will continue. I think that they've learned some valuable lessons from things that happened in 2017. They've already said, hey, we're going to take some more time with our games, you know, to make sure they're higher quality, because it seems like it paid off with Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah.
But like Origins, I don't think it's going to get nearly enough recognition as Far Cry, or rather vice versa. I'm just trying to think of like, what do we know that's coming from Ubisoft in 2018 that's going to be a big deal.
I don't know that I would be that surprised if another Assassin's Creed game didn't come out. You know, it's like...
Oh, I'd be surprised. If an Assassin's Creed game comes out next year, here's what I think is probably...
This year.
2018. Oh, yeah, we're in it.
You're
We're
in one.
2018. You're in one. Okay, so what do you think about Watch Dogs 2 this year?
Announced,
3?
but there's no way
3,
it's coming
yeah.
out.
You don't think it's coming out this year?
I'd be surprised if they announced and launched.
So you think Assassin's Creed is more likely than
No, I don't think either of those are unlikely. I don't, yeah.
To me, EA is just so much more unknown in a way, because there's a lot riding on Anthem for me, and how that
Anthem's
handles-
huge this year for them.
And,
yeah.
and honestly, I could see it going either way completely.
Yeah.
And so it makes it very difficult to answer this question.
Way Out's going to be good, though.
Way Out is
good.
gonna be
I have
good.
good feelings about that.
I think Way Out is going to be good. I think because I am more excited in the potential of the unknown for EA, I'm going to say EA, but are there things that I'm forgetting about with Ubisoft that are super exciting?
Here's what I have for them. Skull and Bones and The Crew 2 are both confirmed. Those are announced games.
Skull and Bones, I could see tanking, but I don't know that it's enough of an investment to make that much of a difference.
Exactly. I can't see it tanking because I don't see them propping it up like a huge launch.
But that doesn't also position them to have a better year. Like, I think if you're going to...
I think Ubisoft announces so much stuff at E3, though.
Yeah.
I also think, what was the other one? Oh, Crew 2. Yeah, I think Crew 2 could be big, because as mediocre as the Crew 1 was,
Yeah.
like, it did well in sales. It got a big expansion. Like, it had a lot of support, and it apparently did well enough to do a sequel. So I think that audience is still going to be there. And on top of that, you know, there will be other people that will be welcoming the Crew 2 with open arms now that it's improved.
EA is going to have a new Battlefront game, though.
Are they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it Battlefront or Battlefield?
Battlefield, excuse me.
Oh.
Yeah, they got to have another Battlefield game.
More Battlefront DLC coming, though.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. But I also
Battlefield 1 was really good.
think Ubisoft is probably holding some cards in relation to the Switch. After the success of Mario and Rabbids, they probably have other things in the works that will be Switch exclusive or Switch ports and things like that.
You know, based on what Blood just said, I'm going to pick Ubisoft because I think Ubisoft has more successfully, even though there might not be as many like big, this dominates the news cycle for a long period of time, like EA maybe has the potential to do in a bigger way. I feel like Ubisoft has successfully done a whole bunch of crazy things in 2017 in a whole bunch of different genres, and it's done all of that surprisingly pretty well, that it makes me want to pick Ubisoft. I think it's like a safer, more sure bet.
Sure. And when I say who's going to have it better this year, you know what I mean? It's not like who's going to make the most money. It's like at the end of the year, when we look back at these things, we can say, oh, they had it better. They had a good year. You know what I mean? And so I get why you're saying that. Jones, where do you stand? Okay, go ahead, Ben.
Just even something like, you know, South Park. Like, that's a really crazy, good, unique thing that you've not only capitalized on once, but twice successfully. Like, what kind of thing like that does EA have, really?
Right.
I don't know.
If we said who had it better in 2017, no question we'd say Ubisoft. Yeah. Jones, so where do you stand between these two?
Probably based on that. I just think for me, I'm anticipating and seeing greater successes from what I already know that EA is bringing to the table than Ubisoft. But, I mean, Ubisoft destroyed EA in probably sales and I think certainly the public perception. EA sure took a lot of hits this year. So is like 2018 the year they bounced back? I don't know. It's a lot to bet on. So I'll probably side with the panel.
Because that's the thing is like Battlefield sells so well. It really does.
Mm-hmm. But
it's going to be a weird Battlefield.
Yeah, that's the
it's
thing.
It's going to be a weird Battlefield.
That I feel like you can say with EA that just upends this whole thing is like, will they mess it up?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I do feel like Battlefield almost has on and off years. So because Battlefield 1 was so good, it makes me a little sketch on what the next Battlefield could be.
Rumor was Bad Company 3, Blood?
Well, then I would not be that skeptical.
Okay.
I think that would actually do quite well, and unless they somehow manage to drop the ball. But yeah, that would do pretty good.
I want to say, I think EA should change their logo this year. They should change their branding. I think they can't show up at E3 with red and white. Do you know what I mean? I think they have to disassociate themselves from their former branding, just in terms of even visuals, just so people feel differently about EA this year.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the history of EA and you apply that mentality, then they got to do that like every couple of years.
All right, I got a tough one. This one's actually super tough. Who's going to have it better this year? Bandai Namco or Capcom?
This is vicious.
This is vicious.
What else is Capcom bringing other than Monster Hunter?
I got a list for you. I mean, I didn't want to make game lists, but like, let me just give you some things.
Mega Man
11, Jones.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Most likely, Devil May Cry 5. Most likely, Resident Evil 2 remake.
Announced, I don't know about coming out.
In 2018? Heck yeah.
Maybe.
When you say it like that.
And then for Namco, actually, there was some that I like completely forgot about. So like Code Vein, Naruto, One Piece, Soul Calibur 6 just announced, but Ace Combat 7, like come on, that like they got a good lineup over there as well.
I mean, if you give me Devil May Cry 5 and Resident Evil Remake 2 with the other things that we already know of that are coming out, I would definitely say Capcom. But everything that you've mentioned for Bandai Namco, like we know is coming, we've seen
also
in one
Ni no
form or
Kuni
another.
too.
And Ni no Kuni 2, like I think I have to give it to Bandai Namco.
Yeah,
because of
Blood,
that.
I totally forgot about Ni no Kuni 2. That's a tipping point.
Yeah.
Jones, where do you stand on this one?
I'll probably go Capcom just to be contrarian.
Tell me why though. What do you like there?
Because of how big those titles are that you were describing. I think RE2. I'm nervous about RE2 remake, man. I think I would not be surprised if that whole thing gets canceled. If they just come out later and they're like, sorry, like we wanted it and we had a team together was putting together some fun ideas. It just it's just not worth it. But DMC I think is totally happening this year.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be big. And I think Monster Hunter's gonna be huge.
All right, if we can collectively accept that Devil May Cry 5 is happening.
And I'm not the big Devil May Cry fan, and I haven't read one rumor or anything. It's just from what I'm hearing from other people. But it's just I've heard it from so many people that it just it seems like more likely at this point.
And the weird little, like, the rumor crumbs that we have to nibble on, like, it sounds like Sony cares about it, positioning this game as a big deal, Devil May Cry 5. And so, yeah, I can see Capcom having a good year. I can see it happening. Okay, that's a good pick, Chunks. Ben, were you swayed? Were you about to swap?
No, I think I'm going to stick with Bandai Namco. Just, like, Ni no Kuni 2.
Yeah. It's a big game.
What I like about Bandai Namco is I feel like there are things that are kind of sure bets. Like, I think Soul Calibur 6 is going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
Yeah.
I think Dragon Ball FighterZ is obviously going to be a big deal very early on, right at the gate.
Yeah.
And then I think, honestly, you have kind of curious cases like Code Vein, where the story is not yet written for that. And so I like that position that it's got with those things.
We talked about this a little last week, but I'm curious what our panelists this week think. Because next week, we have Bandai Namco versus Capcom. We have Dragon Ball FighterZ and Monster Hunter World on the same day.
Yeah.
Who's going to have a better day?
Oh, Bandai Namco.
Really?
I'm more.
I think
I'm
that's
personally,
a sure bet. Yeah, I really do. I like Monster Hunter World. Is like there is excitement, but it's still a relatively small franchise in the U.S. in particular, and Dragon Ball. It doesn't matter how good a Dragon Ball game is, and people are all over it.
Well, you have
and
a
you're
million
putting
locked
out
in,
a
right?
great
Yeah.
Dragon Ball game.
Okay.
So now you have people that otherwise would just be like, yeah, it's just some crappy Dragon Ball game. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen on that day. I think Capcom thinks they're going to have the best day. I think they're budgeting as much, so I don't know.
I'm personally more excited for Monster Hunter World, but like if Dragon Ball games, like Blood was saying, if Dragon Ball games that are like kind of okay can do really, really well, then Fighters is going to destroy.
And you know what? It's a great point.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, next one. Who's gonna have it better in 2018? Valve?
Oh, I don't think I said overall, but
Oh wait, what'd you go with then?
I think I am going to go with Bandai Namco because and the other thing, and what's weird is the thing that's in the back of my head is however many years ago in their January press event, like right around that time, like right when that event happened is when like Dark Souls like was announced.
So they could still.
So I think they've got stuff up their sleeve, and if there's like any credence, any possibility for like some kind of like Dark Souls collection coming to Switch or something like that,
they're gonna have a good year.
By the end of like this month, we're gonna really know if that's a reality.
Yeah, I mean you're right. If
we know From Software is doing something with Switch, we don't know that Bandai Namco is involved in that.
Right.
But it's just like, okay, what is actually happening there? Yeah.
I get that. I'd go with Capcom too, though, to be honest with you. I feel really good about their year for some reason. Anyway, next one.
I think they're both going to have a great year.
Or Riot. Who's going to have a better year? Valve or Riot?
Pass.
Because here's why.
Shall we move on?
Here's why I picked this. Shall we move on? Here's why I picked this one. Is like Valve's in a weird spot, obviously, and the question is like Dota or League of Legends, right? Mm-hmm. But like, I don't know. Valve said they're doing their Dota card game. I don't know. People keep leaving Valve, but they're closely tied with the HTC Vive. You know what I mean? That's kind of their platform, and the HTC Vive Pro was just announced this week, which is like the best VR. It's like, no question now, the HTC Vive Pro is the best one you could possibly have, and so they kind of have that locked in. Riot's interesting. Just in late October, the two founders said, hey, we're going to take a step back from managerial positions, and we're going to go back into game development. And I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, they bought Seth Killian's studio. I wrote that down because I always forget the name of the studio. Radiant, who made Rising Thunder, the fighting game. They were deep into this fighting game, which was weird because it didn't have, basically, it didn't have complicated commands for your inputs. You had cooldowns, kind of like a MOBA. So anyway, they bought a fighting game. Riot bought a fighting game years ago. It hasn't surfaced yet. And so, yeah, I think we might see new things from these two teams this year. But, yeah, I wonder, like, what a year of League of Legends or a year of Dota looks like. And so that's why I compare these two.
Well, I think the reason why this comparison is so interesting and it's hard to arrive at a decision is when you're talking about Bandai Namco versus Capcom or EA versus Ubisoft, it's like no, these games that we're talking about, it really matters to both of those companies if they do well or not. Whereas any new thing that Valve or Riot is doing could be interesting and it could be great, but if it's not so great, like these machines are going to keep running. Like there's this consistency, I think, that both those companies have that the other companies that we're talking about don't have in the same way.
They wish they had a League of
They
Legends.
wish, absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So who's going to have a better 2018 though? Who's going to have it better?
But
So
how do I measure that?
So who had a better 2017?
I don't know.
I think Valve had a better 2017.
Why?
I think the success of the Vibe. I think just Valve has done a good job of kind of expanding its core platform Steam and launching new hardware, which is always extremely difficult. And those things are still relevant and talked about today. Like that's carrying over into 2018.
Yeah.
I think when you say, hey, this is objectively the best VR platform, I still think that holds a lot of weight. And, Dota may not quite be as big as League of Legends, but it's still in the realm of video games at the very, very, very top. And so if you have that and all of these other initiatives that are pretty successful, I think I would give it to Valve.
So then why not 2018?
No, I'm giving it to them in 2018 too.
Okay. Jones, where do you stand on this one, dude?
It's tricky because I think there is a big Riot announcement coming. I think there's something crazy we're going to see.
I agree.
Possibly something in the mobile space, maybe something,
Sure.
just something really weird and unexpected from them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be something I'm excited about, and I certainly don't know if that's going to be happening in 2018. But at the same time, like, I don't think... from my perspective, with all the VR that I've experienced, I really think Sony is in the best place right now. I think they are making the... they're getting the easiest headlines. I think that, obviously, like you were saying, like the hardware is more impressive, if you look elsewhere than the PSVR, but like that library is fine, and certainly near the end of 2017, they added a lot more onto it. And so I think I would love to have that update to the Vive, but like, I don't know how many people are really going to rush at that. And I don't know how much VR is going to expand as far as like must-have titles with the Oculus and just at the end of 2017, there's really only like a handful of things that's like you got to experience this, and I think everything else is either a novelty or just fun and interesting, but not like shaking the earth. So I think it just comes down to whether Riot announces something, and so maybe I'll go with Riot for fun.
Okay, Blood, Valve or Riot?
Yeah, I think probably stick with Valve. I think Valve still shows a broader range of things that they can do and that they have done over the years. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like Riot kind of needs to do something to show that they're more than a one-hit wonder. And
that's so hard.
They've had a lot of people there.
Yeah.
I know that like they haven't just been developing that one game. They've been developing other things, but I don't really know what any of that looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, we could have this exact same conversation about Valve versus Riot in 2015, in 2016, and it would be the exact same conversation where it's like, yeah, we totally know Riot's
something's coming.
Yeah, and so like,
yeah.
I think because of that, because what we're talking about with Riot, where it's like, man, a new announcement any day, like that's just holding less and less weight as time goes on.
Yeah. Cool. I got another really tricky one. WB Games, publisher we don't talk about very often, or Sega. Who's going to have it better in 2018?
It was like 2 years ago. It was like the greatest WB year ever. It was like Mortal Kombat, Witcher 3.
Right.
They
didn't even get that much off of Witcher 3, but yeah, they were involved.
I mean, a couple of years ago, I wouldn't even consider Sega in the running, but now like they've done a lot.
And I mean, coming out, we got Valkyria Chronicles 4, Ben. We got Yakuza 6 this year.
We sure do.
Mm-hmm. WB Games does not have a lot of announced games this year.
So
here's the thing: they still got Rocksteady.
Yeah.
They still have WB
is.
Montreal. Like they're still making a game over there up in Montreal. TT Games is the one who makes all the Lego games.
Yeah.
I think we can expect like pretty level with the Lego games. I don't know if you can expect anything crazy out of that. They bought Avalanche. I forgot about that. WB just straight up bought Avalanche.
Right.
And so, Jones, because when I was playing the Cars 3 game, you're like, yeah, that's a Disney Infinity team. It's like, oh, yeah, okay. And WB Games even owned them when they made the Cars 3 game. Disney property. Like, WB, they can shake hands. Anyway, they have that studio. So, yeah, they have a lot of games and not a lot of announcements. And I expect probably from NetherRealm, I think we'll probably see an announcement this year.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I think NetherRealm usually takes a year off in between games. I don't think we'll see the next Mortal Kombat game this year. So,
well, I mean, we might see it, but we won't play it.
Yeah.
What?
You got to pick, Jones?
I got to go WB. I don't know enough about Sega.
What is happening with Sega other than
to trust
Total
them
War?
to really feel the trend, like you were saying,
Yeah.
like, how you feel things turning around.
Yeah.
I've heard that, but I don't feel it in my gut. So
Cool.
I gotta go WB.
Yeah, I mean, because Sega also did just put out just a total stinker of a Sonic game.
And
right?
that Rocksteady game is for sure being announced this year. It probably won't happen until 19, but we're gonna finish 2018 knowing exactly what that game is.
Yeah,
I mean, you can flip that framing and say, yeah, they kind of put out a stinker of a Sonic game, and also one of the best Sonic games in years.
Yeah. And it'll be easier for them to make a sequel to Sonic Mania than it will be to make Sonic Forces 2 or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, Ben.
No, I mean, I think the gut, the intuition, it makes sense with WB, and the things that they are working with are so huge. But like, I think I'm going to give it to Sega because at this point in time, with what we know about what Sega is coming out with, even though a lot of those things may not even approach the level of reach that a lot of the WB stuff has, what they are announcing with what they have is really exciting and showing a lot of forward momentum.
What do we got with Sega right now?
So we've got Yakuza 6.
Yes. Okay.
We've got Valkyria Chronicles 4. We've got more Total War stuff on the way. And honestly, I think that's enough versus what we've got
From WB, which is nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing we know for sure from WB is that there will positively be more Lego games this year. That's all I got. Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably Sega as well.
Okay.
I think like Ubisoft, Sega is in a position to do more to take advantage on the Switch, and especially like with all the it seems like they're being successful with their weird Genesis mobile thing where they keep releasing new games.
Was that Sega Forever?
Something like that, yeah.
We also have Kiwami too, to bring that up.
Sure.
Oh, I totally forgot about Kiwami too.
Would it be weird to say that it would probably be totally okay for WB to have kind of a quiet year?
No.
You know, coming off of like Injustice, Mortal Kombat,
Gotta have a booth at E3. What's at the booth?
Yeah, because
What are we seeing at the
I
booth?
think they do try to do a big release every year, and so you're right. Last year they had Injustice and Shadow of War, but
Yeah.
I think they try to have a big one every year, and I think between WB Montreal and Rocksteady, one of those two games will come out this year.
I mean, if we were talking about even a whiff of what the new Rocksteady game was, I would immediately give it to WB.
Yeah, because I feel like you can still have a good year without your game coming out in terms of this game that we're playing. You know,
Sure.
like if we're feeling good about you at the end of the year, if you're riding high, if you're snapping your suspenders, you had it pretty good in 2018. But it's
Sega.
still two Segas and a WB.
I like
All right.
this. I
Yeah.
like this divide that we've got going on here.
Last one. Here we go. So this was hard for me. PUBG Corp is number one. I'm like, who could possibly take him down? Or Take-Two Interactive. Who's going to have it better in 2018?
What are the two again?
So it's PUBG Corp, who's just PUBG.
Okay.
And Take-Two is everything. Take-Two's Rockstar, so they got
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2
Yeah.
coming. But even I didn't realize they have Civ 6, so the Civ 6 expansion that's coming out soon, that's also under that umbrella. I expect a new BioShock announcement soon. Maybe it's not this year, but that would fall under them. Maybe Ken Levine's game will be announced. He still works there, but not on BioShock. Borderlands 3 is got to come out sometime.
Yeah, I mean, think about whatever Red Dead Online is going to be and GTA Online running concurrently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then think of PUBG, Jones. Who's going to have it better in 2018?
I think they're more diversified. I mean, it's like the Valve argument. I just think that they got more going on.
Yeah. I do think Rockstar is the upper hand because as good as PUBG is doing, like I don't know that they've lasted long enough that I could confidently say that they're not going to run out of steam.
Yeah, I actually think PUBG, in a weird way, despite it kind of being at a very high point, I think they're in a super sensitive position.
Yeah.
Where, like, yes, it is a game that a lot of people are playing. Yes, it is getting a lot of accolades and high scores. But if you listen to PUBG players, they're, like, kind of frustrated. There's kind of the sentiment that, like, hey, you're making all this money. Why are the updates not more substantial? Why is this not better than it is after all this time? Like, there's some pushback, which you always get when a game reaches that level.
Yeah.
But I think when that many eyes are on you, the pressure to deliver is so intense. Whereas Red Dead 2 or even like a Borderlands 3 or something like that, people are just hungry. They just want it. They'll just take it. I don't think they're kind of feeling uncomfortable about those things the way that maybe they are with PUBG.
Yeah. My goal, I think, is to make a list that at the end of the year seems absurd. You know, my goal is that a lot of these were like closely matched. My goal is that like at the end of the year, it would be like how silly that I even like thought that would be close. And I still don't know between those two. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
At the end of the year, Red Dead Redemption 2 could have bombed and PUBG could have still continued its meteoric rise.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like it's hard to pick. But like if I had to pick, I don't see PUBG's expansion as sustainable. And like Red Dead Redemption 2, it just seems like such a I don't know, man. We've talked about it before. I don't know if it has any feel like GTA 5.
I think PUBG is at this weird place where it's like sort of a turning point because before, like, it had a lot of buzz and it had its issues, but it's been an early access game.
Yep.
Now that it's kind of crossed that 1.0 line, I think like what Ben's saying is like people are expecting, hey, okay, you've made your money, you've said this is the final game, and you know, we want more. We want more maps. We want more options. We want more stability or whatever. You know, like, well, do we want, you know, the Xbox early access feels kind of, you know, like an embarrassment in a way. It's like, why is this not operating the way as it, you know, it should? And like, even though it's an early access game, it's just like, you'd think it would be better off than it is.
It's released on PC, but still on Xbox is still considered early access.
Very
game preview.
Yeah, 0.5.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is obviously not a one-to-one comparison, but it is still kind of crazy to me that no one talks about DayZ anymore.
Yeah.
It hasn't been part of the conversation in forever, and that was a game that took over, maybe not to the extent, but in a similar manner to PUBG, and you could see that maybe happening. And like, I think it's totally possible that we won't be talking about PUBG by this time next year. I think it is a possibility.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's I 100% believe.
Well, there's also the possibility of it becoming like the, you know, like Pokemon Go.
Yep.
Where it's like nobody talks about it, but somehow it's still making all this money. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Because you're right. A lot of games would be happy to be DayZ right now. Yeah, I get that.
Sure.
Well, that's kind of where GTA Online is right now. You know, it's like they just had the Doomsday Heist.
Yeah.
There are people,
anybody that's table know what the Doomsday Heist is?
There are people talking about that for sure.
I mean, I guess when I'm thinking about having a better year, I do think perception is a big part of that.
It is, absolutely, yeah.
So.
Okay.
That's I really liked this game.
Yeah. You know what I had a hard time putting one up against was Square Enix. Because there's just, I don't know about what Square Enix is doing this year. We know Tomb Raider is happening. We know Kingdom Hearts 3 is probably happening this year. Like, it's probably going to have a pretty good year, but it's hard to, like, compare it against anything else. I didn't really know what to pit it against.
Final Fantasy 15 Switch.
Why do that, Blood?
I think it's happening. I don't know if it's going to be that weird chibi port that they were...
That's the craziest thing in the world to me. The mobile version of Final Fantasy 15
whole game
that
chibi.
is like, but it's not like a simplified version. It's like, we're doing those cutscenes again, and we're using the same dialogue from the main game. That's like, why?
I guess the first thing that I would jump to is Atlas, because they have a lot of interesting things that are in the works, but you don't have
that Tomb Raider equivalent.
Yeah, you also don't have that, and you don't have a Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Atlas's mainstream game is Persona now, and that's pretty much it. Everything else is still around the same level it's been in terms of recognition.
I'm interested to see how well Catherine Full Body does. And
yeah, that would be interesting, actually.
And Shin Megami Tensei 5, with it coming to Switch, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. That's cool. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to hear that? Sounds like it's podcast halftime.
The following are the official sponsors of Easy Allies for the month of January. Hogue Law, business law firm. Whether you're starting a business at level 1, stuck fighting the dreaded fundraising boss, or finally cashing out with a well-earned high score, you need a good business lawyer at your side. Rick Hogue started Hogue Law to bring more than a decade of experience to companies like yours and is proud to support the Allies. Check him out at hoeglaw.com. Brent Klaus. Brent Klaus is a 2D animator and illustrator specializing in motion graphics and art direction. He produces animated content for brands using bold colors, fun character animation, and will sneak in a video game reference wherever he can. You can find him and his work on Twitter at Brent Klaus. Scorn, an atmospheric horror adventure currently in development at Ebb Software, set in a nightmarish universe of odd forms and somber tapestry. Go to scorn-game.com for more information. Elthanis. iKeyless. Since 2002, iKeyless has specialized in replacement automotive keys and remotes. They can save you up to 75% off of dealerships' prices. Visit their updated website at iKeyless.com and use promo code EZA at checkout for free shipping and an additional 17% off of your order. Carlos X360. Founded in 2006, established as a company in 2010. Currently, Carlos X360 is a global network of blogs and forums. The end goal is to become a game publisher/developer. The network consists of many subjects, including Call of Duty, Destiny, Battlefront, Devil May Cry, and Nintendo Switch. Join Carlos in discussing all things video games. If you're an investor, get in touch. Carlos is looking for around $50 million. Sweet Justice, a sound design company based in England that's worked on Battlefield, Mirror's Edge, Injustice 2, Call of Duty, Cuphead, and a load of indies. Check out their website at www.sweetjustice.audio. Mango. Jojo Dent Co., your friendly automotive dent repair expert. If you are currently an EZA patron and are in the Denver metropolitan area, tweet at FastMower if you would like to have your minor door dings repaired, free of charge. All of these links are available in the description. Thank you to our sponsors.
That was matter of fact was the read?
Yeah.
You said I wanted to read it matter of factual?
Yeah. Like I'm not a voiceover person.
Oh, I'm just explaining it to you.
I got a bunch of sponsors here.
Yeah.
Just trying to tell you about my sponsors.
I just feel like you were like it was condescending.
It was building up over time.
Oh, okay. Like, why don't you get this? Mango. It's like, get it through your skull. Yeah, all right.
And we have a tremendous group of sponsors that hopefully let me get away with stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's fun, Jones. More fun. This next segment is called Press Release Me. Now, this is a segment in which I found a press release, and we see how far into the press release we can get before we need to be released. And so, panel, once you've had enough, once you've had too much, in fact, once you need to leave this press release, you simply say, release me. And once we have 3 release me's, we end the press release and move on.
Hey, question.
Yeah.
Because I've done this one other time, and I said release me.
Yeah.
And we did not get the 3 votes.
I think it's because Jones held out the entire time.
I love press releases.
So that because of this guy to the right of me, right there, this smiling contrarian on this podcast, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a successful release me?
The other time you're on was the only other time we've done
it
this.
hasn't been
This is the second press release.
So no.
Although that one,
Welcome back.
man, that one I sent you that I thought was gonna get on, man.
Yeah.
That was
see. Kyle
that
is
was
reading.
good.
Mad Catz is back in the game. So actually, yeah, this is actually kind of interesting. Well, you know what? I'll let the press release speak for itself. Legendary gaming hardware brand returns with new management, new ideas, and a new range of high-quality gaming products. Kowloon, Hong Kong, January 4th, 2018. Mad Catz Global Limited, the legendary brand leading innovation in gaming hardware for almost 3 decades, announced today a surprise return to the international gaming scene. Less than a year after the much-loved brand disappeared from the gaming landscape, Mad Catz is back under new management with new ideas, new attitude, and most importantly, an entire range of new high-quality gaming products. Known for the award-winning range of rat gaming mice,
Release me.
Release me. Yeah, I'm done.
arcade fight
We're out.
sticks,
Release me. We're done.
gaming headsets, and much. Wait, did blood?
We're out.
No,
No,
there's
there's
3.
three. There's
Oh, I
three.
missed the blood one.
So,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Release
Woo.
me, please.
I was out like the third or fourth time they repeated that who they were and that they were under new management.
Yeah. Oh man. New management, new ideas. Okay, great. That was fun.
Yeah, people got their jobs back.
That's how Release Me is supposed to work. Well, I think it's
Mad
new
Catz.
people getting new jobs, but cool. You know what? I was being very mean during that segment, but yeah, that is good news for Mad Catz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against Mad Catz, but like, how can you write that?
Oh, that's the thing.
Did
That's the
any-
point of the segment.
I
All
know,
press
I know,
releases
I'm
are
just
bad.
saying,
Yeah.
I just would appreciate if it was a sentence line that said, "Hey, you might have bought maybe some controllers or something from us, and that was good, and we're back."
Yeah.
But just be honest.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Gaming landscape scene.
That's the thing. It's a
Legendary
gaming scene,
product.
and
Yeah.
it's a gaming landscape in the next sentence, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm losing it.
All right.
The old GL.
The thing is a lot of the ones that like, oh man, this is gonna be good. I'll send this to Kyle, and then I start looking at it. It's like just too short.
What was the
They actually get out in time.
Yeah.
what was the legendary brand of the rat products?
Yeah. Oh, and
Rat gaming.
that
mice.
was just like the tip of the acronyms. Like it's rat. It's an acronym for something.
RAT.
We'll never know.
Yeah, yeah. There's strike, there's freak, there's glide, there's rat air, and there's strike 4 and freak 4.
Yeah, did you get the new Freak Wireless?
Yeah. All right. It's probably good.
Sometimes it's hard not to relish in the absurdity of it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not that I hate Mad Catz or I'm not happy that people aren't getting their jobs back, but you gotta just have a laugh. Mm-hmm. You gotta just create a little bit of space for a little bit of laugh. That's okay.
It's not time for love and respect.
Love and respect.
Okay, so since we didn't do any current events this week, let's do one. Let's do some love and respect current events. Bonjour, allies. EA is looking at scientific ways of controlling player engagement.
Everybody is.
Well, here we go, John. So this one's
Sorry,
this one's
jump in.
controversial.
But that's
That was good. That was good.
And they found percentages when players leave the game's multiplayer. Incidentally, both 3 wins in a row and 3 losses in a row made it in. And with the power of science and matchmaking, they can allegedly affect the player's engagement. As in, if a player loses 2 games, it will put them into a good team, so they win. Or, adversely, if the player is about to win 3 in a row, it will put them on a losing team, so that they have to go a 4th game. I honestly find this insidious and a classic backdoor shady deal. Self-adjusting difficulty in single-player games is one thing, but this just sounds plain wrong. What does the esteemed panel think? Happy 2018, your ally, Star Tsurugi. Jones, that expression, man, you
I'm gonna be a little brand manager about this. Well, there's just some unfortunate facts about this. One, how do you prove it? How do we know they did this? How do we catch them in the act?
I think they're not shy about this.
of
actually.
doing this.
I don't think they're shy about
That's
this.
one way.
Yeah.
For EA just to admit it themselves.
Yeah.
But I think this is something that I could live in fear of and get really aggravated towards people that are doing. But if I was honestly playing a multiplayer game, I don't know if I could really tell that my experience was being lessened or that necessarily that team is going to guarantee a loss. You know, like I've had some underdog wins in multiplayer games that were pretty fun, where I felt like, oh, I got on a bad team, and then we actually pull it off. So I just don't. I like as fun as it is to imagine EA as the puppet masters, but being like, haha, you were only enjoying this game because we told you to. I've enjoyed some pretty dumb like setups as far as like how I'm matched up or the grind that I have to go through through a game. So like I don't need EA to massage me to make an online experience better.
But they are massaging you, isn't that wrong? They're
massaging themselves. They're massaging their bottom line.
Yeah.
At my expense.
Well, that's the interesting thing to me about this is obviously they're always going to have some form of an economic benefit for you playing longer, but at some point isn't like tapping into the psychology, like isn't there like some beneficial point in that just in game design, like if you're always losing, like you're not feeling good about that game. If you're always winning, you're not feeling good about that game. So it's like it's in a way it feels like it's just part of like that matchmaking juice of like figuring out like what actually makes for good matchmaking.
What makes a game fun?
Yeah.
I kind of get that. I get that argument. It is, as Bloodworth said, almost game design. I guess, Ben, where we fall upon is it's EA dictating, oh, we're going to make it really hard for you to win your next game. And I think that's where people are offended. We're going to try our best to make you lose this next match. Is that fair?
But I think when it comes to matchmaking, right, and you hear people talk about matchmaking, how do you can only approximate fairness. And, like, that's already so rough to begin with. And so even outside of EA with matchmaking, like, I'll play Overwatch and I'll be like, we're doomed to lose this from the start. Or I feel that way, you know? And so, like, I think when it comes to playing multiplayer games, you just sort of have to accept that you're going to have some really great matches where you feel really excited. And you're going to have some really bad matches where it's just hopeless and you're angry and nothing is working. Like that's just that kind of chaos I think is inherent to multiplayer design. And so what you're implying here doesn't sound like it's affecting that in an extra insidious way. Like how, like what is objectively, like Brandon was saying, what is this objectively different than other comparable games? Like what's the difference?
Yeah.
Really, in a practical sense.
Because again, going back to what I was saying, it's like it's almost like saying, okay, these guys, like even though, you know, all of the formula that we had, like on the base of it, says that these guys should be harder. They're not. These guys are too easy. We're giving you guys that are too easy. If you're like winning this much, like you should have somebody that's harder. And the other way around is like, oh, we think you should be okay with these people, and no, you keep losing, so something's up. We got to give you, you know, something that's a little bit more of a challenge, or more, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just think it's freedoms. It's my freedom they're impeding upon in my game.
But
they're controlling me.
You're always controlling who people are getting matched against in one way or another, you know. And the other thing too, like they can only work with what they have. They can only work with the players that are playing right now in the best, you know, situations and the best connections that you can get.
They could try to make 2 even teams every time, but instead they want to balance it.
Yeah, but the question is if they're trying to make 2 even teams, how is this situation any different? Like, I think in trying to make 2 even teams, there's no way, it is impossible to guarantee an absolutely fair match based on when you're trying to matchmake, the number of people playing, like what's going, like that's just impossible. There's going to be unevenness in it, you know. So what are they? My question is, what are they really impeding upon? What is this freedom that they are impeding upon?
I guess what I would say it was my freedom to have the best opportunity to win, because they're creating a scenario where I have a poor opportunity to win. They're actively working against me as opposed to actively trying to give me the best possible even match that goes to overtime. You know, they're trying to give me something.
But what is an even match? If you're consistently winning, how is that an even match?
Sure. I mean,
you know, like An even match to me would mean that you're going to win one, you're going to lose one, and it kind of goes back and forth. Mm-hmm. There's a little tug of war there, and some days you have better days than others or whatever. But
and I think that there's just when you're dealing with connecting to human beings online, there are so many variables. That I no matter how fancy your math is, you're just not gonna be able to come up with stuff. I mean, I think about multiplayer setups where you punish people for bailing on games, but like maybe I didn't bail because I'm mean. Maybe I bailed because I got bad internet connection. Maybe I'm bailing because my Xbox is breaking. Maybe I'm bailing because my mom grabbed me at the last minute, or like my sister came in and kicked the cable out. I'm like it's like you just can't tell right away when something happens online. It's like and the way they describe it, it's like, well, you won a lot, so I'm gonna put you on this team with all these idiot crappy gamers, and it's like, well, I feel kind of bad for those guys. Like what if you're on a 5-person team with 4 other players who really want to win, who are like really trying, and then like you're a pro player who like, or just somebody who should maybe be on a team with better people, but like I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and like let them have this one match. I just think there's a lot of potential different ways to look at things. Granted, they might be a small percentage, but you don't know.
Yeah, again, I think when you're talking about something like this, you really need the data to support it, because what's the extended version of that story that you're talking about, Brandon, where it's like, okay, you're pairing me up against people who the game is saying is sucky, they're bad.
The Little Giants.
Right.
The Mighty Ducks.
How did they get there? Did they get paired with teams who were also sucky and bad? And so like the game is trying to correct that. Like it's when you look at like a bunch of consecutive matches, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, there's a constant path there where the game is trying to shift and correct and put you there. You can't just look at one match and being like, oh, they put me with a bunch of bad players. Well, what does that even mean? How are we quantifying bad players? Are they bad today? Are they bad this week? Are they bad this month? Like, that's why I think video game matchmaking is so hard, because it's easy to have a bad day in any competitive game and feel like the world is against you, where it's probably just a bunch of different things at play.
Are they 4 good players that just don't play well together?
Right.
Yeah. There's just like, we're just,
Those styles aren't meshing within the game. Yeah. I don't know.
One of the other things,
I don't envy people that build systems.
I don't read this as being so extreme. Like it would seem counterintuitive to the purpose of this. For let's say you're on level 30 and you've won your 3 matches in a row. They're not gonna like then put you up against a bunch of level 50 players, and then you have no chance of winning. Like you're probably gonna go against somebody that's a little bit harder, so you feel like, I almost got them, I need to jump back in.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're just gonna get like, stomped on. So it's such a subtle thing that like I don't even know if it would be noticeable other than somebody actually analyzing and revealing this kind of thing.
Before we move on, Jones, there's one point that you made that I always dislike, is like, hey, if your sister kicks your Xbox off, you should be penalized for that. If you lose your power, lose the points. Like, it makes me so mad when games are like, well, he could have just like had to pause it, like just like lose those points, because most people are quitting for illegitimate reasons. Mm-hmm. And so like I think just like on those off rare chances where it's like, oh, it's not fair. It's like, nah, it's fair. Lose your points. Your internet went out. Lose them. I think that's totally fair.
Well, Fortnite has been crashing big time. The last couple months, it just all of a sudden started crashing. I've been playing on the same console the entire time I've been playing Fortnite, and now almost every time I sit down to play the game, the whole game is gonna crash. And so all I am to another player is, Sid and I left the game. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
We have 4 minutes left the match. What are you doing? Why'd you leave? And it's like, because the game crashed. I'm coming back.
John,
give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back in.
That's a whole other thing. Epic
how
came
do
out.
you know?
They came out with an announcement about it, actually.
Oh, okay.
So it's some like server thing. It's some I don't even know. I know it involves the word meltdown with a capital M.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
That's not just a server thing. That's a full-on across-the-board computing vulnerabilities that have been discovered recently. So yeah, if any device that you have with a processor in it, make sure it's up to date.
What does that mean, Blood?
That means that people can get information and attacks and stuff like that on.
Oh, and so to cover their vulnerabilities, that's why it's slower now?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
that's part of the unfortunate part of the update.
Got it. Yeah. So Jones, in the case of that game in particular, Epic came out and said, "Yeah, sorry about this. It's going to be bad for a while. Our CPU usage or something spiked or something like that the second that we implemented this." Yeah.
I think the other thing too, where I might seem kind of blasé about this, is this seems to me something that's going to just happen. That like, in some form or another, every company out there is making some multiplayer game is trying to work the numbers to make them more money.
Oh yeah. But
so to like target one company or just say like, why isn't EA being a super nice, clean, non-backdoor shady deal like all these other companies? I think all those other companies are doing something, maybe not doing this, but are trying to work the numbers, work in their favor.
And I mean, I've been playing devil's advocate for the entirety of this, but like, just think of Mario Kart. Just think of rubber banding. We all hate it, but the game would be less fun without it. And that's what that is. They're adding rubber banding to multiplayer, and it is game design to me. And so like, I think it comes from this perspective of where I like don't like multiplayer gaming that much, but like to me, it makes sense. It just makes sense from game developers to just do that. Make sure people have the most fun.
It is something, though, where you're talking about it in a broader, I don't like this multiplayer context. And it is something that I find myself feeling more and more nowadays, where there are multiplayer games where I really like the ideas and I really like the good experiences, but there are a lot of times when you have so many people where it's like, am I willing to deal with not having a good time all the time? Or could I play a single-player game where it's like, obviously there are going to be low points, but like with so many multiplayer games, the highs are so high where you're having a great time and you feel like the game is working as it should. But when you get that bad team and they're just awful, like I was playing an Overwatch match, and there was these people that I was teaming up with where they just were just screaming into the mic the entire time, like ear-piercing screams the entire time, and you can mute them obviously, but it affected the whole match because
they're
like,
out of the team.
Then you had the people who weren't doing that. You had a guy being like, "Can you stop?" And like they're just so irritated and trying to communicate that they're not focusing on the match. And it's like, I'm not even really playing. Like this is just a wash. This whole thing, we're not even really playing this game, or at least with single player games. I don't have that inconsistency. I'm doing it, and maybe I like it or I don't like it, but at least I get to experience the thing. I don't know. It's just frustrating.
But those highs, though.
Yeah, that's the thing, is those highs.
It's like sports.
Those highs.
Yeah. Next question. Oh, we got a game. Let's do one more game. Hello, allies. Ally. Here's a game for you. It is Awesome Games Done Quick this week. For those who don't know, it's a charity event put up by Speedrunners. Awesome Games Done Quick. They're doing Prevent Cancer Foundation currently. So my game is how well do the allies know the world record times for the games in the Easy Allies Hall of Greats?
Poorly.
Yes.
Do not.
According to speedruns.com, closest guess wins. Love and respect, the Meager brothers.
Cool.
Yeah, I like two things because I always love Awesome Games Done Quick, but I like that as we're testing our Hall of Greats.
Well, what's weird about this, Kyle, is I watch a lot of the marathons.
Yeah.
But I don't watch a lot of speedruns outside of that.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't. Yeah.
And here's what's interesting is we have actually like the categories in particular. So here we go. Metal Gear Solid. It's in the Hall of Greats.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
Any % console version extreme difficulty. How long is that playthrough? Any % console version extreme difficulty.
Meaning PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Wow, just off the top of our head with no...
Yeah. Who's going to
Wow.
be closest? Yeah. Any percentage.
I think because it's purely a numbers game, you should bark out an order because it's like kind of like you can kind of like prices right it,
2 hours, 10 minutes.
Okay. Blood.
Probably less, though.
Hour and 15.
Ben.
32 minutes.
Blood wins. 1 hour, 3 minutes. Wow. Yeah, I figure you're squirming through some wall to beat that game.
Oh, you're always.
Yeah, you're doing something with that one.
Of good stuff.
Here's a really hard one. Super Metroid, any % run.
Any % run?
Yep.
36 minutes.
Okay. Ben.
35 minutes.
Blood.
17 minutes.
41 minutes, 33 seconds. That's a win for
Brand
Jones.
Jones.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I'll keep track of these. These are fun. So, Blood, you got that first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Street Fighter 2 arcade mode hardest difficulty. That's so interesting.
Yeah,
Do a
that's
speedrun of
interesting.
Street Fighter 2 hardest difficulty. So, Blood, we'll make you go first on this one.
8 minutes.
Ben.
15 minutes.
Jones.
14 minutes.
Oh, Jones, you sneaky one. 10 minutes, 53 seconds.
Wow.
I learned from the best.
And this is Turbo Edition on arcades. So to get that speedrun, someone was actually playing on the arcade cabinet. That's pretty
Awesome.
cool, yeah. Super Mario 64, 120-star run. Ben, you'll go first on this one.
Okay. 32 minutes.
Jones.
50.
Oh no. Oh no.
Daniel Bloodworth.
Oh no.
It's probably like
Yeah.
gotta be over an hour.
Oh
I
yeah.
imagine.
Daniel Bloodworth.
48 minutes.
Ooh, it is over an hour. It's an hour 39
Yeah.
minutes and 28 seconds.
No, I was thinking I was 120 stars. Not
120 stars is everything.
Yeah. I was not thinking 120 stars. I immediately regret that.
So you clearly, over an hour. 120 stars. That's like, wait, so what hour? What?
Hour 28. Sorry, or hour 39.
I could
That's
have.
like
I could have
a
gotten
minute
that one.
and 5 seconds per star. That's
Yeah. You're right.
Have
That
you
is
seen some of
incredibly
these Mario
fast.
64 speedruns?
Yeah. You're right, though. That is incredibly fast. That's hard. That's really hard to imagine. Another N64 game, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. 100%. We're not just.
That's less than a minute, actually. Sorry,
What's up?
my math.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Hour 60 minutes
Per star.
I'm tired.
I'm tired too.
Yeah. Full disclosure: it is 12:33 a.m.
Oh, sure.
Woo! I totally missed the game. What do we? What,
Oh, so Ben first. Ocarina,
I did
you went
first
first last
last
time.
time.
Jones first. Ocarina of Time. 100% though. 100%. Everything. I wonder if that even means all Skulltulas.
I guess.
100%.
Does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to.
2 hours 50 minutes.
Daniel Bloodworth.
Sorry, it's weird noises.
Well,
Oh.
3 hours and 15 minutes.
4 hours 45 minutes.
Ooh, Ben, you got that one. 4 hours, 10 minutes, 43 seconds.
I feel good about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You like thought it through?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't cheese it? Yeah, I like that.
No cheese.
Here's another one in the Hall of Greats. Blood, you'll go first on this one. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Glitchless, any percentage. No glitches.
I really like that
Oh, wow.
distinction. Yeah.
55 minutes.
Ben.
$45 minutes.
I'll go an hour.
That goes to Ben. 33 minutes.
Wow. 33 minutes. Wow.
Ben,
I
you got
guess
some points on the board, dude.
I get.
Yeah.
Would Inverted Castle even be a part of that? You just get to credits, right?
Come back.
I don't know.
I think any percent, I don't think you have to do Inverted Castle.
Yeah, maybe not.
Though I did just watch a run that was no bosses, and they did do the Inverted Castle. So I wonder if Inverted Castle is officially canonically part of the playthrough.
I think it is.
If it is 33.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess so then, yeah.
Okay.
All right, Ben, back to you first.
Okay.
A new submission to the Hall of Greats, Chrono Trigger. Any percent.
Oh.
Any percent.
Okay. I'm going to say 3 hours 50 minutes.
Jones.
5 hours.
Daniel Bloodworth.
6 hours.
Game's got a lot of endings. 2 hours, 29 minutes. It's another win for Ben.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do wonder which ending that is.
Underestimating
Well,
a lot of
which
those
ending-
times.
Because Chrono Trigger is one that they've done like several times at GDQ, and like they always talk about world records and stuff when they're doing those runs.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was one where I feel like I had some good range for it based on those conversations.
They submitted actually also another run to mention is that 100% all quests is just 2 hours longer, 4 hours and 32 minutes. It's cool.
Wow.
All right, our final entry into the Easy Allies Hall of Greats, of course, Pokemon Red and Blue.
Yeah.
Glitchless, any percent. No glitches. Jones, you're first on this one.
Hour 40.
Daniel Bloodworth.
1 hour.
Ben Moore.
2 hours, 30 minutes.
1 hour, 48 minutes.
Oh, wow. I can feel it.
How did you feel it?
Knifed it.
How did you feel it?
Just came to him.
Jones, you won that with 1 point with that last one. Yeah.
A bolt of lightning.
Wow.
Very frightening.
Because Ben, you actually had 3 back to back to back. That
Yeah.
was very impressive. You almost were in there. But
Well,
then-
you threw me off because the glitchless Pokemon is crazy fast, and
Is
so
it?
I think so.
yeah, well, it is.
I think
if
so.
you're beating that game in 4,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or wait, no. I'm sorry. Did I say
hour, 48
glitchless? I meant
minutes.
I've seen glitched Pokemon runs that
Got
are
it.
just ridiculously fast, and so I think the glitchless threw me off, and I overestimated.
Glitchless, I assume you're still abusing some bugs somehow. Yeah, I think you're still using some tricks in order to beat that game in an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, all of these you're gaming it as hard as possible. Yeah.
You ain't fighting that Snorlax.
You're not fighting the Snorlax. No way.
You're getting
No.
right past him.
So wait, what was the total tally?
Jones had 4. You had 3. Bloodworth 1.
Well done,
Bloodworth won.
Jones. Well done, Brandon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jones, do you remember who? Do you remember who is in the Elite Four? I'm just curious. Just brief aside.
What, the names of the characters?
Yeah, who in the Elite Four can you remember?
No.
Nobody? Who was the dragon guy? Who had the dragons?
Who's the dragon guy?
Yeah,
No.
Lance.
Lance the dragon guy.
Dragonlance. There you go.
Oh, hey. I wonder if that's a thing. I wonder if that's...
Could be.
Yeah.
Ben, you got one?
Is Agatha one of them?
Yes. Agatha's got the history with Professor Oak.
Yeah. But I don't remember. There's one younger woman, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't remember her name at all.
So that's one I'm foggiest on. I believe her name is Lorelei. Does that sound
Lorelei
right?
Gilmore?
Yeah. She's like an ice trainer, right? Lorelei? She's got that dude.
I mean, I remember her sprite, but I don't remember her name at all.
Lorelei fitting in a Pokemon name box, but okay.
I think it does, man. And then Bruno is like Brock's dad. He's just super jacked, and he looks like Brock. Mm-hmm. And then once you beat all 4 of those, Jones, do you remember what happens after that?
Nope.
Your rival, man. Your rival.
Okay. That one I'm surprised at.
Your rival has already been through it all.
Well, he says, do you remember what happens after that? You didn't
Yeah.
say, do you remember who you fight or where you go? You said, well, remember what happens. I didn't know
Yes.
if you meant a line of dialogue or a cutscene or an item you get or what, man.
How did this game sneak into the Hall of Greats?
It's a quality game.
Yeah, it is.
It's good stuff.
That's fun.
The story was one of my favorite parts of it.
Oh, man. Let me know if it's not Laura. Obviously, they're letting me know if it's not Laura.
Oh, they are.
Remember, too, I played most of that game incorrectly, so I over-leveled and just blasted through a lot of those.
They didn't mean anything to you. Bruno meant nothing. Surely you
Yeah.
had to switch to some other party member with your Charizard fighting Bruno.
I infamously didn't. I think
Yeah,
I could,
actually, I
could
think Bruno's fighting types, actually. Yeah, you were fine. Yep. Yeah. Lorelei, just melter. Yeah, okay. Okay. It's now time for
Goodbye,
bets.
Lorelei.
You rhyming again?
extra credit.
So here's the thing. It is 12:39 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah.
We still don't know when that Nintendo Direct is going on. We still don't know. And that's this week's bet. Last week's bet is about this thing. This week's bet's about this thing. We're betting on when we think the announced date and time will be. If you think that date and time will not be announced over the course of the next 7 days, say so. You'll get a point for that. Brandon Jones.
January 24th at 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Ben Moore.
There's probably a point where you asked us to write this down, and I didn't do that. I just didn't do that. That didn't happen. I
Can't give you a bet, man.
Multiple times.
I don't even.
Can't give you a bet.
I don't even remember you saying the bet. This is like the first time I'm hearing it.
But for listeners at home, you do have to appreciate the moment in the podcast where Ben just like grabbed the piece of paper. kind of held it under the table for a little bit, looked at it. He folded the corner a little bit.
I've been fidgeting.
Just kind of like,
I've been folding the piece of paper.
All right.
I forgot that the bet was part of the podcast. Can I still?
It's been a while.
Can I still wing it? It's been a while.
You can't. I can't allow it to be officially entered. But like, if you want credit for it, you know what I mean. Like, if you want.
So, I want to do this in the up and up.
Yeah.
This is my fault. I take full responsibility.
Yeah.
Is there any way I can scribble something down real quick?
No, because Jones already revealed his.
Okay.
Because then you would price it. The reason why we keep it a secret is the Price is Right method and stuff like that.
Sure.
Gotta respect the sanctity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I failed you.
What would have been your guess?
No idea.
Oh, okay. All right. Daniel Bloodworth.
January 25th at 11 a.m.
Wait, what did Jones say? 24th? Wow. Okay. All right. And then I was very optimistic. I said Monday, January 15th, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Let me lock those in. So, Ben, I don't know if you're aware, but there are actually 3 teams now.
Are there 3 teams?
Yeah, so Brandon Jones is a team.
What other bombshells do you have for us tonight?
That's a bombshell. So Brandon Jones is a team. He's a team alone called the Red Grouses. The Red Grouse. He is the Red Grouse. Mm-hmm. My team, I am the Droopy Eagle. And your team is the Gorgeous Gorillas. And those are the 3 teams who placed bets last week.
Gorgeous Gorillas is a good name.
yeah.
It's a really good name. All right, so let's look at what last week's bet was.
Sorry, team.
We were betting, yeah, they're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, they should be. They should be.
We looked at Nintendo America. We looked at their Twitter account. We wondered how many tweets they would tweet over the next 7 days from last Tuesday night. Jones, you bet 40. Ian bet 19. Brad bet 10. I bet 8. The actual number of tweets from Nintendo America for the course of the last 7 days, 12. That's a win for Bradley Ellis.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Pulling his weight.
What's wrong?
I thought it was more than that already.
It's not. It was just 12. There was, I think, 1 retweet from some Squid Kid account.
Huh.
It's not Squid Kid. Help me with the name of that game.
Splatoon?
Splatoon.
Squid Kid?
Some Squid Kid again. See? We all make mistakes.
Would the game have done better if it was called Squid Kids? Okay.
No,
all right.
It would not.
Okay. Good to know.
Jimmy, quit playing the Squid Kid game and come to dinner.
So here's the... Are you playing that Squid Kid game?
Hey! I'm sorry.
I realize it's fun, but it's wrong.
What?
It's wrong.
I appreciate you.
It's a waste of good ink.
It's cubby holes. You know what I mean, Ben? It's like, it's just, that was whatever I printed on the label of the cubby hole that I pulled that out of.
Kyle, I want to help you out here. I have no idea what you just said.
Oh, like your brain. Like your brain is a bunch of cubby holes.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And then you label the cubby hole certain
And that cubby hole is Squid Kid. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I respect
or
it.
I think it'd be, I opened that cubby hole and all I could pull out is a bunch of cards that said Squid Kid. It's like, help me, all I see is Squid Kid.
This is all I got. I have to say Squid Kid.
Okay.
It's all in the hole.
The thing is, they're being a little cute on that Twitter account, and I wanted to share this. They tweeted this on the 5th, but they retweeted it today. That parrot that gives you hints in Super Mario Odyssey, there's an image of this, and then here's the text of the tweet. What is the secret you're seeking? I know it. Ha ha. I can't tell you. It's hiding somewhere and no peeking. Go find it. Scracaw. They're teasing us. They're teasing us that they're not announcing their Nintendo Direct yet.
Maybe.
What else could that possibly mean?
Just about that character in Mario Odyssey.
No, because he tells you everything he wants. He tells you secrets.
No, he tells you the name of a secret, but then you have to go look for it.
They didn't tell me a name of a secret.
They're clearly being cute.
They're being
I don't know
cute.
how else to interpret this other than being cute.
And then to retweet your own tweet, they're so proud of this tweet. They're like, we gotta retweet it. How dare they? Wow. Well, we'll find out soon, hopefully. Nobody said no, though. I suspected somebody was like, no, they're not going to announce it this week. Don't be crazy. Let me tell you about patreon.com/easyallies. Easy Allies is a group of people, conspiracy theorists in search of the
definitely
Heffalumps.
not.
What are they?
People who like the bet scores?
Sorry?
Bet scores.
Oh, you're right, Jones. I guess we should. No, I'm on my roll. We'll get to the bet scores after talking about patreon.com/easy.
You got it, baby.
This is the most important part of the podcast.
Definitely.
It's the part that people like the most.
Wow.
Because basically, Easy Allies exists because of Patreon.
Yes.
We are able to keep going because of this website in which people fund us monthly, basically. They make monthly payments. So it's worth checking out that website if you're curious about what we do, because it's not just this podcast, it's many things, many more podcasts, even live streams, all those sorts of things. Check out that website. Check out what we can do for you. Check out what you can do for us at patreon.com/Easy Allies. Now, the scores. The Red Groose 0.
Groose again.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me repeat that then. I don't want to bury you like that. The Red Grouse 0. I know, Jones. Oh, Ben, you're ready.
No, I think this is fair to ask since we're a new team.
Yeah.
With new animal sound, new expectation.
Yeah.
We can distance ourselves from the butchered platypi sounds of the past.
Yes.
Can I ask for an example of how we should sound?
Yeah. I don't think you have to abide by it.
Okay.
But Brad went. Oh yeah, Jones.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
Okay. Gorgeous Gorillas 1. And the Droopy Eagle 0 points. Blood, how'd you do on your goal? Remind me what your goal was?
Yeah, it's not fidget with my my hoodie.
Oh, hands above the desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sleeves and the zipper and all that
Well
stuff.
done. Yeah, hands stayed above the desk to listeners.
All I do during this podcast is fidget.
Yeah, we're fidgeters.
I don't know what I would do with myself. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I fidgeted with other things, just not with my hoodie. Yeah.
He has like a little candy cane out here. Ben, how did you do on your goal of rhyming? There was a specific thing, like it had to be intelligent rhyming or something.
Yeah. So I was going to say,
happening.
honestly, I crushed it because I loved my rhymes.
Yes.
But keeping in mind the other half of that, where it had to be like during a serious point that I was trying to make.
Yeah.
It did not happen during a serious point.
Okay, great rhymes nonetheless.
Great rhymes
You
nonetheless.
still
Hard
drop
to
more
call
than
it a
one
loss.
rhyme, though. I call it
Yeah.
even.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Jones, how did you do on your goal this week?
I did it.
Of delivering podcast halftime in a
Matter of fact.
matter of fact, yeah.
I did something. I don't know if it's matter of fact, but your definitions may vary. But it was different.
Yeah, it was absolutely different.
It'll be back to the regular podcast halftime next week.
I made some time travel jokes, but then I went back in time and then I didn't do it.
Oh, wow.
Daniel Bloodworth, because you're in Brad's seat, you win the right responsibility to share your Twitter handle with the world. You get to promote any Easy Allies video you would like to promote. You get the final word on anything you've disagreed with, simply want to reiterate, or just popped into your head just now. And you get to sign off with your trademark sign off. Take it away, Daniel Bloodworth.
My Twitter handle is @dbloodworth2. What I mean, I have to promote pretty much. I don't have to, but I should promote the Easy Allies Awards deliberations, which are happening next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Check easyallies.com for your local time. We will be debating Game of the Year live on air for the first time ever. Mm-hmm. So that is going to get interesting. And quite long into the night, most likely. I think
other jolly categories too, right?
Yeah. We've got some fun categories. We actually tried to not do a lot of the more familiar categories and try to come up with some different things, some more interesting, fun things. Anyone else got some pitches to add on to the awards? Anything else?
So let's say I'm the type of I know there's lots of people, lots of different types of people. Some of them like to watch us talk for hours.
Yeah.
Some of them don't. Some of them say, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, we're going to do basically just an awards video afterwards, probably the next day or two. That will just be really straight into the point. This is each category, and this is what won, and these were the other nominees that made it into that category.
Everybody's happy.
Won't have the drama because you're gonna know already. You're gonna be able to find a list somewhere on a forum. Somebody's gonna tell you on Twitter, but it'll be there to conveniently recap everything.
Cool.
for my final word, I will say that I was convinced that seeded won. I specifically sat here because I thought that I don't know, that I didn't need to be in the winning seat. And I sat in the winning seat anyways.
A winner no matter what.
And the next Blood Moon is on January 31st, so keep an eye out for it.
I am enjoying these microtransactions.